Serious, what is a passion of yours that you can't talk about because no one around you gets it? History. No one seems to care when it comes to how and when things happened. It's interesting, damn it. Farming. A lot of the people around me are very fond of the suburban city lifestyle and see farming as backwards, dirty, and poor. Space exploration. People just think I'm weird when I get excited talking about the Gemini program. Man. I'm a runner. No one in my family gives a shit. They didn't care that I ran my first marathon last week. They understand that it is something big, but because none of them exercise, they can't grasp the scope of what I accomplished. Nature. Just being in it and drinking in its beauty is beyond words for me. It helps that I live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, BC, Canada. Roleplay. Not sexual roleplay but text-based. Becoming someone else and writing a character. Developing it. Interacting with other characters. It's like writing a book with a partner and I adore it. But outside of my roleplay partners, everyone assumes it's sexual and made costumes. There's just something about music that just moves me. Especially instrumental music. But I find some movie soundtracks to be absolutely wonderful. And just so beautifully done that sometimes they make me cry. I can't explain why it affects me the way it does. But I feel like no one around me feels the same way about music. To a lesser extent. No one around me is as passionate about Crusader Kings II as I am. Sometimes I feel bad for talking about it so much because I feel like I'm bothering them. Linguistics. Every time I bring it up I either get blank stares or some bullshit about improper grammar. I keep fish. Either people don't understand or don't care. I get weird looks when I say that goldfish need at least 20 gallons of water per fish. People look at me like I'm crazy. And probably think I'm not spending that much money, and a month later their fish suffocates to death in a bowl of its own poop. Horror movies. I have one friend that loves them as much as I do. But the rest of them refuse to even talk about them. Low budget. High budget. Short films. Remake. Original. Any kind of horror movie. I'll watch. I really enjoy foreign horror movies as well. Because even without subtitles I can understand what's happening. It's also nice to compare how they differ from country to country. Reading and studying serial killers or morbid things. Also gore. People think I'm a nut job and going to kill them. I'm incredibly harmless, but I have a fascination for that stuff. Hard to find someone to relate to. Wrestling. I try talk about it and all people say to me it's fake and gay. Optimizing algorithms. There is something sublime about rewriting code to be more efficient in performing the same task. I get you, my friend. It is the beauty of programming. Finding an answer to a problem. Make a code that is so clever yet so clear at the same time. That aha moment. My interest in disability policy and critical disability theory. My work with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities is what gets me out of bed every day. This thread is giving me such a smile. I love that people are talking about their passions, and even though it's without voice, I can see the feeling that you have on these things. I just like listening to people talk about these kind of things. Reddit. In my opinion, Reddit is the only site worth my time because I see everything earlier than anywhere else online. It is the front page of the internet, but the whole karma thing confuses the hell out of people. Social engineering. I find it fascinating and enjoy studying human behavior, body language, psychology, etc. However, most people become uncomfortable if I start to go into these topics. So I rarely bring it up unless something is very relevant to it. How badly I want to help people. And how much the little things I see can affect me. I can see a homeless person on the street for 2 seconds as I drive past on a bus. And I'll find myself on the verge of tears. An elderly person can't pick up the card they've dropped. My eyes water. See a sick person in pain. My heart aches. It can be the tiniest thing that seems insignificant to others. But it'll have me fighting back tears and wishing I could help. I wish I could tell someone this without sounding pathetic. Anime. My friends around me are more into Korean dramas, and some people I've met called me childish for watching cartoons at my age. I feel kind of alone sometimes. I'd love to have a friend to share the feels I get after finishing an uber amazing anime series. I have a notebook filled with survival techniques. Wildlife including but not limited to trees, plants and many animals. Ways to make tools in the wilderness and the best trees and plants to make them out of. Edible plants and plants that the local wildlife eat. A variety of traps. And also different huts that I could build with different varieties of materials. It's my plan when the world goes to shit, or my life gets f-ked somehow. I'm pretty sure this isn't a normal hobby for a student studying international business. Edit. Eating breakfast ATM will post pics when back in my room. Pictures. Keep in mind I'm not an artist. http. Imgur. WBM. For other stuff like this there is a YouTube channel. It's a strange one. But I'm really passionate about a good story. A life experience sort of story and a person who can tell it really well. I don't care about exaggeration or being sidetracked. This is why I like working with older people who've been around. I'm a young truck driver, and going traveling. Staying in hostels. Talking with people who've been around a few blocks. It fascinates me, and the advice from the older generation is priceless. But I find a lot of people don't quite understand and always get to the point quickly. I find it hard to talk with a lot of people on a social level because they have little to share that is even mildly interesting. Boring people annoy me. My wife. People think it's cool I like her so much, but I don't think anyone understands just how amazing she is. She doesn't have any close friends. Doesn't get hit on constantly. I don't get it. I feel like if I saw her across the room as a stranger I'd have to go say something to her even if it was creepy. But that just never happens. People listen to me but only a few of my close friends have really gotten to know her one-on-one. People just don't get that she's literally the best. Chemistry. Outside of other students, if I try to talk to anyone about how awesome this stuff is I get weird looks or I bore them to death. Mine is unique. I've never heard of it before. My friends' eyes gloss over when I talk about it. Barcodes. And barcode scanners. You can program some using barcodes. And barcode printers. I'm fascinated by Zebra's custom printer language. 1D. 2D. RFID. MMMM. My favorite is probably PDF 417 just because of the information density and the ridiculous number of ways you can customize its format. Texas driver's licenses have a PDF 417 barcode with encoded data. I sometimes ask friends if I can scan their license and they always decline. I love how you can make almost any program print code 39 using just a font, and including start and stop codes. Books. No one around me reads. I have really intelligent people in my life. But none that understand my love for words and stories and why David Foster Wallace makes my soul ache. I had a boyfriend that once tried to understand. But instead ended up commodifying books. And would buy editions solely because they were rare and expensive. Rather than understanding what a first edition of a Cormac McCarthy meant. Trance music. Everyone I know absolutely hates it. But it's all I ever listen to. Except in social situations. When I can't. Because everyone's like awful. Your music is just like your name, except that's not my real name. My faith. Most of my friends are atheist. As is my father and my mother is also Christian. But she doesn't like discussing it much. And I'm well aware that talking about it too much to those that aren't interested will come across as me trying to convert them. When all I want to do is talk about how much it means to me. I do have a few friends at church. But none that I interact with as regularly as the rest of my friends. I want a dog to use for therapy purposes for others. I want to enrich and brighten the lives of the elderly. Sometimes lonely folks in nursing homes or in the hospital. I want to participate with my future dog in the reading programs for children that allow them to gain confidence reading out loud by practicing on a non-judgmental audience. A dog. Animals make a profound impact on people's hearts. And I want to be able to bring that hope, joy and fulfillment to others who need it. Computer networking. I'm amazed by the things I can automate and control with a few devices on my home network. I'm also amazed that the majority of my improvements are only utilized by myself because none of my friends or family are interested in understanding them. Headphones. Few people understand it. And most really don't understand why I pay so much for headphones. Or have so many. They just buy their $30 headphones and are done with it. Each to their own, I guess. But I like my headphones.